Welcome to a brand new week, another edition of the Economy and Politics Show. We'll be looking at interesting developments around socio-economic space and how it affects the populace. Today, January 18th, 2020, we'll be looking at economic agendas of states. The focus is Lagos, Nigeria's economic capital and the fifth largest economy in Africa, with a gross domestic product of over $100 billion and home to Nigeria's financial and capital markets, tourism, commerce, entertainment, real estate, conglomerate, and even technology industries. In addition, you could say the oil and gas industries have their head offices also in Lagos. And what is this conversation about? On the sidelines of the recent presentation of the Lagos 2021 budget to the business, media, stakeholders, I had the privilege of engaging the Commissioner for Information and Strategy, Mr. Gbenga Omotosho, on the theme agenda, T.H.E.M.E, the agenda and how it will reposition Lagos to be globally competitive. For those of you wondering what the theme stands for, of course, theme naturally looks for the caption or topic for some discussion, but this theme, T.H.E.M.E initials, stand for traffic management and transportation, health and environment, education and technology, and making Lagos a 21st century economy. And the last part is about entertainment and tourism, as well as security and governance. So those are the thrusts of the economic agenda that is being driven currently by the administration of Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu. So take a listen to this interview where I asked him various perspectives to this plan and how it keys into Lagos' second level industrialization and becoming a global economic hub.
First, the themes agenda is made up of 6 pillars. And the mere fact that we have themes agenda shows that Lagos has a visionary leadership that has been able to set out clearly all of the things that we need to achieve, and with a mechanism for checking what has happened, what has not happened, and with clear timelines. And the budget that we have just listened to, the analysis, the facts behind the figures, shows that the themes agenda is working. Because if you look at the budget performance in area of capital expenditure, for example, despite the crisis in land all of last year, around COVID-19, NSAS, and what have you, we were still able to do well over 80% in capital expenditure. And I feel that without paying much attention to the themes agenda, that vision that had been set, that wouldn't have been possible. And if you look at all the projects that we are taking on this year in education, in health, in housing, you will see that that clear vision that was set out before the Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu administration came on board, which it promised it was going to use to work for the Lagosians, is actually working. If you look at all the key roles that we have taken on, you will see the impact. Look at, for example, the Abule Egba Oshodi BRT corridor. Before, people used to spend 3 hours to commute from Abule Egba to Oshodi. But today it's not so. You spend like 30 minutes. I mean, look at the regional road that we're doing. Look at the Lekki Expressway. That road is bad. And if you look at that area, it's the industrial heart of Lagos now, the Lekki Epe axis. And for these 2 major roads that we're doing there, there's no way it will have so much, it will not have so much impact in industrialization. So all of the health centers, that all of the things we have done in health, you can see that it's showing, because when coronavirus came, Lagos felt challenge, and we rose to the challenge by building isolation centers, and the experience of the building of isolation centers and training of our doctors and medical workers, that experience is now paying off. in other areas. If you go to our general hospitals, the service there is better now. The personnel, they are better. We have better doctors, we have better nurses, and all of the supporting staff that they need, because we have put more money in health. And so it is in education. Over 360-something schools renovated, and new schools built that are going to be commissioned very soon. So the impact of putting more money in capital expenditure is clearly showing. It's all part of the smart city project, and it's private sector driven. And like you have said, it's to not just connect our schools and hospitals to faster internet, but it's also part of our security plan, so that when you have cameras in critical places, if there is any crime, it's easy to trace. So when the smart city project is all completed, especially this broadband that we are talking about, that the first phase we get, it's all about 6,000 kilometers, but the first 3,500 kilometers will be completed this year. When we do that, you will see that there will be faster internet. Our hospitals, our schools, they will have access to better internet service as we are having now. And of course, you know the effects of having better internet service. We're having discussions with giants in that area from all over the world who are talking to us on how to take power forward. But talking about our industrial areas like the motorized mill that you talked about, there's a component of it that has to do with power too. So I don't think that the area will suffer, that the mill will suffer because of power shortage. It's not going to be so. And in planning all of these things, power was taken into consideration. And like I told you, we are talking to industrial giants to see how we can go forward by having more IPPs. Our hospitals are connected to all these IPPs. And then we are doing some of our hospitals, especially LASUT. So we are trying to LASUT, and then the General Hospital of the Island. And we are trying to see how much of that we can do from now till some other time, that we continue to engage the private sector to come and do IPP, so that power will not be a problem in the area of industrialization on healthcare service and others. If you look at the entertainment sector, for example, I have not seen anywhere in Africa where you have the kind of nightlife that we have in Lagos. But apart from that, if you look at the kind of thing we are trying to do about small businesses running at night, we are doing retrofitting of street lamps. And then we are going to have more street lamps in Lagos. Thousands and thousands of them are in place, so that when everywhere is lit, people will not be afraid of moving around at night. And people who do businesses can do their businesses anytime. So we are trying to improve all of the infrastructure that we need to do that. But, I mean, if you look at nightlife in Lagos, it's great. And I do not see any other place in Africa where the nightlife is as big as Lagos. We have big nightclubs, we have big, and now even small neighborhood markets are springing up, opening at night. COVID-19 has taught us so many lessons. The first lesson is for us to be prepared, that in everything that you do, even as you are planning for positive ideas, positive things to come up, you should also prepare that any negativity may come in at any time. COVID-19 has taught us to prepare and then to see far ahead in Lagos. And I feel that because of the lesson of COVID-19 that we are learning now, there is no way we cannot go forward in every aspect of the team's agenda, because we are using all of the things that we lost to COVID-19 as a springboard for us to leap ahead and be able to do better in education, in health, in housing, in all of the things that we promised Lagosian that we are going to deliver. And I'm sure it's going to be so. Betty, let me just remind you, it's not a talk shop. It's a place where action plans are made and such plans are executed later. There have been so many results of Ingbeti summits that we have had. And this one is not going to be an exception. All of the things that we are going to discuss here, because of the caliber of people who are coming to discuss, because of the caliber of people who are listening to them, because of the interest people have in the economy of Lagos, I assure you that it's going to be something that will fortify the T.H.E.M.E agenda and not weaken it in any way, because it's going to be laying a plan out that post-COVID-19 Lagos, how do we move forward? And I'm sure that all of the ideas of people who are coming from all over the world to attend the summit will be able to gain, and not just gain, people will see where they can invest in Lagos and see that Lagos is still, the government is going to be showing them that Lagos is still the darling of genuine investors in Africa.
Welcome back, and I guess you had a lot to learn from that conversation. It is clear that economic plans are critical to states to drive development, and how Lagos implements the T.H.E.M.E agenda will be critical in inspiring other states across the nation to give priority to effective and robust economic planning. But economic planning and agenda is not new to Lagos. Prior to now, there was a time we had what we call PATH, P-A-T-H. That was the agenda being driven at the time by Governor Babajide Fashola. P stood for power, A, agriculture, T stood for technology and transportation, and H, housing. Those were the bedrocks for which the administration was driving its economic strategy and agenda, and it continued to be the basis for which all its budget plans and strategies continued to drive its focus on. So economic agendas in essence are very critical for states where governance, if effective, has a bigger effect at the grassroots level where local governments superintend. And this again brings to the fore the very importance of economic planning and strategy. It's not just about winning elections at the subnational level. It is important to have a trust and agenda for which the government at the subnationals carry out the activities. Lagos is not alone, there are several other states, but the thrust for today's conversation was looking at Lagos. Now let's take a look at the year 2021 budget for Lagos State, and we can say that for successive session, Lagos has achieved the budget cycle of January to December, just like the federal government has achieved. The year 2021 budget has a name, but it is keenly focused on youth development and human capital. It's also looking at increasing the opportunities for job creation. This budget strengthens the determination of the citizens and the plans to make Lagos a smart city with a modern infrastructure that is globally on point. Now, it has 10 key objectives, and the 10 key objectives include the continued aggressive development and maintenance of infrastructure across the states. It is also looking at the creation of employment and the enhancement of food security, improvement of civic participation, inclusion, and cooperation in governance, intentional investing in human capital development, that is education and healthcare. It's also taking very seriously the strategic deployment of functional technology in public services, improving the state's capacity to collect due revenue as efficiently as possible. The attraction of investments through public-private partnership is also at the core of the 2021 budget. The improvement of the state's healthcare systems, the environment, as well as public spaces. Improving youth engagement, participation, and empowerment. Another very important one is the rebuilding of Lagos following the EndSARS protest. This is not new, because during this protest, which had a situation where it was hijacked by hoodlums, Lagos, Nigeria's economic capital, was the epicenter of the violence, just like Lagos has been the epicenter of the coronavirus pandemic, which today has hit over 100,000 confirmed cases in Nigeria, with Lagos the highest in terms of statistics. The budget estimate is about 1.164 trillion naira, with a capital expenditure of 702 billion naira and a recurring expenditure of 460 billion naira. Lagos is taking the lead in the area of having capital expenditure higher than recurrent. The ratio now is 60 to 40. In 2020, the ratio was 55% capital, 45% for recurrent. It projects a revenue for 2021 fiscal year estimated at 971.028 billion naira, while the deficit is approximately 193 billion naira. This deficit will be financed through a combination of external, internal loans, and bonds, which are well within the government's fiscal sustainability benchmark. So those in the markets will be bracing up for Lagos State as they will be visiting to leverage and raise financing. Indeed, it's very clear that Lagos has positioned itself and the themes agenda has become an opportunity to once again springboard from what I identified earlier as the twin challenges that Lagos faced last year, the COVID-19 pandemic and of course the escalated NSAS protest. Lagos seeks that opportunity to reinvent itself and drive a new level of opportunity. Lagos, as we know, is a population of over 22 million Nigerians. And it's just that city in this country that has almost all, if not all, the ethnic nationalities represented. A place for immense opportunities. And they are very key areas that Lagos must continue to leverage, improve to achieve a very robust economy. The first most important one is security, which of course is part of this agenda. Security continues to be very important for Lagos as the population continues to increase every day as people come into the city. The second is the need for effectively managing the environment, which has to do with waste and of course how it's effectively ramped up. The third is healthcare, and of course the health sector has shown its resilience amidst the COVID-19 pandemic, but more investments, as we see in the budget strategy, will be key, and our infrastructure must be taken seriously. The next is technology, and Lagos is taking the lead again as it continues to look at laying of more fiber optics cables broadband. 3,000 kilometers is part of the agenda, and then another 3,000 in the subsequent year. If that is achieved, we'll be seeing 6,000 kilometers of fiber optic laid, which will support its even tech-enabled economy. The next very important aspect for which the city remains critical and needs efficiency is transportation. And transportation is a whole gamut. The bus rapid transport service, the BRT, and other levels of road transportation. And of course, the waterways needs to be leveraged, just like we're seeing now that Lagos is looking at the rail system, having the blue and the red rail lines, particularly the one project from Marina to Koko. We'll to see other projects come on that reconnects the city and eases transportation. The next is the issue of infrastructure. Infrastructure is very critical, and projects like the Fourth Mainland Bridge will be a core focus to see how that is completed in due time. The initiation is very important, the transparency. Execution of this project will open up Lagos to a new level, and that's one very important aspect to take seriously. And of course, achieving a robust space, entertainment, and tourism industry needs to thrive in Lagos. Those are very, very critical industries and sectors, as we also tie this into agriculture and food security. Food security remains important in Nigeria, and one very important project that Lagos is touting is the Imota rice mill. If that project is completed, it will be providing over 3,000 jobs just alone, keying into the Imota Industrial Park. So, we see huge opportunities just when there is coordination, when there's effective partnership between the government and private sector, and when there's a political will to execute it. So we'll be monitoring to see how Lagos takes this theme agenda effectively, because if it does well, other states will take the lead. And that'll be all for this edition of the Economy and Politics Show. You can join our website, www.proshare.com, to watch our videos, and you can also click on the site Go to state and local government space in that website to check your news stories and reports, particularly in subnational governance. You'll see things that we're written and analysis around states, particularly Lagos and other states in the country. Also, you can follow us on Twitter at WebTVNG, and of course at EcoPoliticsNG for updates on the political economic space. If you have comments about this conversation today, particularly the Lagos State theme plan, you can send your comments and observations to news@proshareng.com, and we'll be nice to respond and take note of them. Till we come your way again, thank you for watching. Have a nice day and stay safe.